Alright, everybody. Final report of the day, and this one actually makes me a little angry, a little cringy. So please do bear in mind if I decide to have an emotional outburst over this one. The UN is currently discussing blocking the sun with aerosols. Ugh, I can't even facepalm hard enough over this one. The UN is literally discussing whether or not to purge CO2 from the upper atmosphere. See what I did there? Whether. Yeah, that little joke there is to keep you from having an outrage. But they're going to try and purge CO2 from the upper atmosphere and replace it with some kind of aerosol to block sun rays. This particular geoengineering resolution is soon to be discussed when the UN Environment Council next meets in Nairobi. Nature.com has made a report that states the body is poised to debate a resolution on geoengineering approaches that could be used to fight climate change, elevating a controversial issue to its highest political form yet. Switzerland and 10 other countries have sent forward a proposal to the UN Environment Program to basically evaluate this process, figure out the technology, methods, vehicles, and time needed, although curiously not the why. It's like, why are we doing this again? Why are we messing with nature's observable checks and balances and essentially fucking with the environment whenever we don't like what the environment's doing? As usual. Oh no, something scary. We must stop it. But what if it's a natural process and we're actually making it worse? Oh, that never happens. We're perfect. We never make mistakes. You see what I did there? This is a disaster waiting to happen. We need to just let nature do what it's gonna do and survive the best we can. When you start fucking around with nature like this, there's gonna be massive consequences somewhere. But of course, those aren't even being discussed. They're just discussing this from the point of legalism. Now, preliminary discussions have begun and come and gone, and primary discussions concerning this decision will be ending tomorrow on March 15th. I am dreading the news report tomorrow. I am dreading it. I hope to hear that they don't go through with it. But will we really be so lucky? Ted Parson, a student of environmental law in Los Angeles, has said of this: in principle, it's a big deal. This could be the start of a serious international liberation on governance that has been needed for years. Yeah, they discussed the legal considerations, but not the moral and even mortal considerations, i.e. side effects. How about natural vitamin C production in the body? How's that going to happen if we don't... What if we can't get enough sunlight into our bodies through the fucking aerosol? Or how about cold, hot temperatures? Temperature lowers, temperature rises. What about plant growth? Are the plants going to be able to get enough sunlight? It already said that the aerosols would literally block sun rays. How's that going to affect plant growth or vitamin C production? Are we all going to have to start taking supplements now? Do they even think about any of this? Do they even think before they decide to do something? That's all I want to know. Do they even take the time to consider the possibility? This guy has disaster spelled all over it. We don't even fully understand how nature works. I don't think we ever have. All we know for certain is that there are demonstrable principles within the system of nature. We understand animal hierarchies, prey versus predator, or different types of predators, such as apex predator, and so forth. Or the fact that, the sun is literally the cornerstone of life on Earth. That and the most essential part of our ecosystem is insects. All these things we know, and yet we still gonna mess with the shit anyway. Because we're humans, and we know best. We're better than Mother Nature. Fuck her. We're gonna go fucking with this natural system because we don't like how it works. The absolutely mind-numbing arrogance of the human species. And I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, get off your soapbox. Stop preaching to us about nature, man. We know what we're doing. Do you? Is there a single project any government has ever taken of this nature that has actually ended well? At all? Really? Maybe it didn't get as much of the same result as they hoped for, or there was a minor disaster caused by it. You name it. I mean, we shouldn't be fucking around with this kind of thing. This is dangerous stuff. We're basically changing the nature of our atmosphere. Who's to say that the air is even going to be safe to breathe if they do this? Because what happens when you purge CO2 and replace it with these aerosols is that the oxygen levels are going to rise. Which I suppose is not necessarily the most dangerous thing ever. But keep in mind that that could also change the very nature of travel through the air. Because air is actually, oxygen is actually combustible. Similar in nature to hydrogen or helium. Bottom line is, I think the greatest effect will have less to do with oxygen, though, and more to do just with messing with the light levels in our upper atmosphere. This will clearly affect plant growth, vitamin C production, temperature changes, temperature shifts, you name it. I just don't think it's safe for us to fuck around with this. Anyway, that's it for today.